High blood pressure is called the silent killer. Many people don't have symptoms until they have a medical emergency. That can include a heart attack or a stroke. Now, local seniors have a new way to find out if their blood pressure is elevated and to improve their health. All senior centers operated by Milwaukee County now have a special program that lets seniors check their blood pressure and get help controlling it. It's a partnership with the American Heart Association, and joining us to tell us more about the effort is Zach Metrou, Community Impact Director for the American Heart Association. Thanks for being with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Let's start with the basics. What is high blood pressure?
Yeah, high blood pressure is really, to break it down to very simple terms, is when the pressure in your blood vessels is, there's more pressure against the blood vessels, essentially. So really, when we're looking at the numbers, we're looking at something that's elevated above 120 over 180. So that's the numbers we want to be around, but anything above that 120 or anything above that 80 line, that's what we're going to look at as high blood pressure.
One of the things that I think is really hard for people when it comes to really understanding our blood pressure, high blood pressure, is that the symptoms can be really vague. So how do we really know if we have high blood pressure? It's not as if there's a list of 6 or 7 things that you see that and you know that's what it is. How do we really know when we have high blood pressure?
Yeah, that's a great question. That's why we call it the silent killers, because there's a lot of times where you don't know if you have symptoms, or maybe if you have a headache, that is something else causing that, or if you're feeling maybe a little dizzy, those types of things. But really how we want to get people to know is to make sure that they understand where their blood pressure normally is, going into the doctor and getting those regular checkups, your annual physicals, or if you have a blood pressure monitor available to you either at home or in the community, to be kind of checking in on that yourself and understanding where your numbers truly lie.
Most of us probably are not going to the doctor with enough frequency to really know what our history of our blood pressure readings look like. Is that one of the reasons that you all decided to partner with the senior centers in Milwaukee County to give seniors a way to be able to check their blood pressure?
That's absolutely one of the reasons. We know so many times people, they can't get to the doctor or they avoid the doctor. There's a lot of anxiety around going to the doctor, especially in our senior population. Sometimes they anticipate bad news and they just don't want to hear it at that point. And so we want to make sure that we're bringing these devices to where they are, where they're already congregating, where they're already meeting their friends or going to do activities with the senior centers, and making it more of an enjoyable experience for them, and make it not so, anticipating bad news or getting worked up or trying to find the time or find someone to drive them there. They're already going to the senior centers, and it gives them that availability to do it on their own time at their own pace.
I go into my Milwaukee County Senior Center, and what do I see and how do I participate in this so I can check my blood pressure and know what's going on?
Absolutely. So in all 5 county-owned senior centers, there will be a tabletop device, kind of like what you may have seen at CVS or Walgreens in the past. Not the big all standalone device, but sits on a table and you can slide your arm in and then use the device right then and there. That is going to be open and available in all of the lobbies of the senior centers whenever they're open. You can use it as long as no one else is using it. It's available for you to do it. And then each of the senior centers are going to have a checkout model as well, so that if you need to take it home, your doctor may have asked you to check your blood pressure at home on a more frequent basis. The senior centers will now have those available for you to check out and take them home for about 2 weeks and then return them after you kind of understand where your blood pressure numbers are, once you get those numbers back to your doctor.
So I'm putting my arm in there and I check my blood pressure and maybe it's a bit high. What kind of information is there to help me understand what that number means? And is there information about where I can go to get help if I need it?
Absolutely. So at all the blood pressure hubs that we set up, We always provide information on how to properly take your blood pressure. I said that's the number one thing, is making sure we're taking it properly, especially with these devices. They're a little bit different than maybe what you're used to. So making sure we do it properly, as well as educational information on what blood pressure numbers mean. As we mentioned, that 120/80 earlier, is we want to make sure we understand where elevated is, or maybe a critical number, what that also means. And then we also provide information on what you can do at your own terms to reduce your blood pressure. Or can you limit some sodium intake? Are you limiting your alcohol use? Are you getting proper sleep? So those are all the things that we kind of provide. And then the tail end of that, as you mentioned about the follow-up care, is we always connect with the local clinics in the area, maybe about less than a 10 to 15-minute drive from that specific location, where we've already talked to them to let them know this program's going, so that if they get a call from somebody who's going to one of the senior centers and calls the local clinic, they already know what's going on about the program, and they can help get them in and evaluate them from there.
What kind of results have you seen, and what kind of reception has the program gotten from individuals who are coming to the senior centers?
Yeah, this has been a great warm reception so far. At all the senior centers we've set them up at, everybody's been so excited. And then we rolled these out over about a year time period, just to make sure we kind of worked all the kinks out. But once the other senior centers started hearing that Clinton Rose had theirs, and then McGovern had theirs, the other senior centers got word of it, and they're like, when do we get ours? When do we get ours? So it's been really exciting to see and from the numbers that I've kind of been hearing about the usage, they continue to go up and up and up. And so I'm grateful for the work we've done between SOA and the county staff to make sure that this has been a robust program.
Well, there's a way in which people can easily find out their blood pressure, get the information they need to get it under control if it's not. That's kind of a win-win for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. That's all we're looking for, is to make sure we help people.
Well, Zach, thank you for your work on this program, and thanks for being with us today.
Thank you so much.
For more information on understanding your blood pressure, visit the American Heart Association website at heart.org. Thanks for joining us this week on Connect MKE. We'll be back again next week.